In today's video, we're going to go over the first 7 steps that you need to take after you publish your new website if you care about SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it is a powerful marketing tool for small business owners just like you that want to attract your ideal clients to your website. But real quick, my name is Samantha Marilegro. I am the creative director at Samantha Digital, a digital marketing agency for ambitious small business owners that want to get more traffic, more leads, and more sales from their website using branding, SEO, and web design. All right, so now let's jump into the steps that you need to take after you launch your website if you care about SEO. The very first thing you want to do is set up a free Google Search Console account. I have an entire tutorial on how to set this up, so I'll link it in the description for you. Now, Google Search Console allows you to manage your presence in the Google search results and tell Google that your website exists. And so if you don't have this, then there's a chance Google may not even know your website exists. And so it is so important. So make sure you watch the video in the caption after you finish this one, and then let's jump into Google Search Console. And here's what you want to do once you get set up. The very first thing you want to do once you get set up with Google Search Console is type in your website URL into the search bar up here. Then it's going to retrieve data from Google's index. So as you can see, my page is on Google, but yours may say that it's not. So what you want to do is click request indexing. This is basically telling Google to re-scan your page and save it in its database. It is so important that your page is indexed in Google's database, because if it's not, there's no chance for it to show up in Google. And so it's basically going to check right now. And of course it will re-index it. But basically if your page, if it says no, then you need to definitely do this process. And a way that you can quickly check to see if your website is on Google is type site : followed by your URL. Now, I will say sometimes Google Search Console will say that your URL is indexed. It'll literally say URL is on Google, but then when I type this over here, it'll say no results found. And that's obviously a mismatch. Like if you were to say see no results found, then that means that your page isn't on Google and you need to come over here. So this is a quick test for you to see if you just do site : I will say it's not perfect. I've definitely seen it mess up sometimes, but just always go off of this and request indexing. You also want to request indexing if you're just making updates to the page as well. So number 2 is to submit your sitemaps. So over here under sitemaps, you'll see I have a handful of sitemaps, and sitemaps are basically just like a table of contents of all of your website pages so that Google knows to crawl them and index them. So what you're going to do is come over to your website, use the detailed SEO extension. I have an entire tutorial, and this is like my favorite free SEO tool for information at a glance. It's just a free Google Chrome extension, but then what you'll do is you'll click sitemap and then see a bunch of different sitemaps. So all you're going to do is just copy each of these and put them over here and click submit. Now I already submitted this sitemap, so it's going to be listed twice, but I just wanted to show you what it'll look like once you do this. So do this for all of the sitemaps that you have. Now, if you follow this process of clicking the detailed SEO extension and then click sitemap, you don't see this page. It could be because you're not using WordPress, which is fine. You can still generate an XML, just Google free sitemap generators. But in the event you don't have one, there's free sitemap generators that you can use to create and then feed it into Google. I am on WordPress. I'm using Yoast SEO plugin, and so it gets generated for me. If you're not using Yoast and you're on WordPress, I cannot recommend it enough. I also have a video on that, which I will link in the description below. Now, the other thing I recommend doing in Google Search Console is coming over to search results. Now, in the beginning, yours is going to be pretty bare. Once data starts coming in after a couple months, what you're going to want to do is come over to your top performing pages and look at those that have low click but high impression. If that's the case, what you're going to want to do is update your SEO title tag. This is a little bit out of scope and more advanced, but I just wanted to touch on it because it is a really nice feature of Google Search Console that's basically saying like people are seeing this in the search results, but they're not clicking. So you need to update your SEO type. If you want to learn more on this, leave a comment and then I'll create more content just like on this topic. The other cool thing you can do is go to settings and add users. So if you have a developer or an SEO specialist helping, you would do that right here. The next step you want to take is setting up a free Google Analytics account. There's plenty of easy ways to do this. I personally recommend using the Sitekit plugin for WordPress. If you're not on WordPress, just Google Wix plus Google Analytics. I'll leave my link for connecting WordPress with Google Analytics in the caption. All right, so once I'm in Google Analytics, what I like to do is look at my traffic over the past 30, 60, 90 days, analyze trends, see if I'm dipping down, see if I need to take any action. I also like to look at active users and then look at my top pages report. So with the top pages report, it's really nice. What you can do is show up to 250 rows, and then you can just start to look at posts that are climbing up the ranks in terms of getting the most views. For example, I have this marketing checklist for small businesses. This was an old, outdated piece of content using ChatGPT. And now what I've done is I've gone back and fixed it and really elevated it from using generic AI content and stock photos to being a highly valuable piece of content. And the only reason that I knew to do that was from my analytics. And by looking at this page and say, wait a minute, this is starting to gain some traction. It deserves my time and attention to beef it out. And so I have an entire blog post about my publishing process. Some of the ways that I beefed it up include GIFs, custom images, and then links to my social media and YouTube videos and free resources. Just make it super easy and enjoyable to read. The next step you want to take is to set up a free Google business profile so that you can show up in local searches. Now, you should do this even if you don't have a physical presence. Pick a home base. So for example, I'm a web designer. I could serve clients around the world, but I still have a home base. This is so good for SEO because why wouldn't I want to get traffic and business from the local Fairfax market, which is where I'm based out of? It's just such a great idea all around. Here are some tips for setting up your Google business profile. The goal should be to make it as complete as possible. And so this includes gathering reviews, adding images, adding regular updates. Though this is likely to be depreciated, maybe this one you can just let pass. There's not a lot of data that this actually helps, but the rest of it, it's just a good idea all around to build out completely. Link your social profiles. This is not like something you can update. A link to book an appointment. If you don't have a phone number, you could get a Google Voice number. That's what I do. I do have a virtual office address so that I can show up higher for local searches. That is something that you may want to consider as like an easy hack to show up higher. I think I spend about like $50 a month. I get leads from this every month, so it's totally worth it for me. And it also helps me show up higher in Google. So food for thought, add pictures. You don't even have to show your face. See how my face is facing the computer? Try and build it out as completely as possible and make sure that this information matches exactly what is on your website and any other platform in general. It's very important that this remains consistent. And then one tip for Google verification, as you may know, if you've tried to do this in the past, there is a verification process. It helps if you use a branded domain over a Gmail. So if you use Samantha at samanthadigital.com, it's going to be easier than if I use samanthadigital@gmail.com. The next step is to get listed on local directory websites like Yelp and Apple Maps. Let me show you my best tips for this. So here's a few different ways to get local directory listings, just to kind of show you what that is. Here's an example of a Yelp. So Yelp is a very popular one. It's just mentions of your business on directory sites that people can search to find businesses. So like it has your business name, website, address, and some images. It's super simple. So all you'll do is you'll just Google local business citation services. You can click any of these. I've not used Birdeye. I've used That Show. I've used Fiverr, and like LoganX is a very popular one. You can use LoganX, Local Citation Builder. I think this is the most affordable one. You can even use Fiverr. I mean, they have it as well. You just want to secure these mentions. Now, this isn't going to skyrocket your business to the top of Google. In fact, none of the steps that we've talked about so far are going to do that, but we are laying a solid foundation and just covering the absolute essentials that are non-negotiable. And then a sneaky hack, what you can do is look up local directories, your city and state. And so right away, what's coming up is the Chamber of Commerce. So be listed in the Chamber of Commerce. Only do it when it makes sense. And then you can also search your industry and look for directory sites that way. And then one more advanced tip, if you do have Ahrefs or SEMrush, you can come over down to referring domains and then look for directory websites this way, and then get the ones that your competitor have, which is always a good idea. The next step is to create 3 high quality pieces of content. I think a lot of business owners and content creators get mixed up and think that they need to create 20 or 40 or 100 blog posts. Absolutely not the case. Create 3 really good pieces of content, promote them, get traction, and then build on top of that. I have an entire content creation process that has helped me rank dozens of blog posts at the top of Google, and I will make sure to link that for you so you can go watch that next. Now, once you've created these 3 high quality pieces of content, what you want to do is promote the heck out of them and get backlinks. A backlink is when another website links to your website, and it is a signal to Google that your content is high quality and authoritative and trustworthy. This is just one of the biggest ranking factors in Google, like it or not. And so you need to prioritize getting links to your website. Otherwise, your website is going to be a ghost town, especially in the age of AI. All right, now I'm going to go over a few different ways you can find backlink opportunities, starting with this backlink checker by Ahrefs. It's free. So what you're going to do is type in a competitor URL and click check backlinks. So this is going to give us a listing of all of the websites that are linking to our competitors. This means that these websites are accepting paid backlinks. Like you can buy a backlink or get listed on some of these sites. So what we want to do is start reaching out to them and get links to our website. You can also just Google Write For Us plus your industry and find various opportunities. So like if I click in right here, it's going to tell me all of the guidelines that I need to follow and then how to get in touch. Super simple. If you want somebody to just give you a list that you can then take and run with, check out my backlink prospecting guide. It has just an entire list of thousands of websites that are accepting guest posts that you can take and then pitch to. I use this all the time in my SEO campaigns. The other thing I wanted to say is if you come across a website that you don't know if they accept backlinks, but you would love to find out in like kind of a sneaky way, what you can do is you Google write for us plus the URL, or you can just get in touch with them and ask. And so if you're wondering what the heck to even say when you reach out, like, hey, can I get a backlink? Obviously that's not going to cut it at all. So I put together 10 winning guest blog post pitches that you can use to reach out to these websites to start getting links from them. And it's going to position you in a way that like makes them want to respond. So I highly recommend that you check it out. This is available on my website. It's totally free. Just to give you a sneak peek inside, it has when to use a certain angle and a sample email. Take a look at that. And I hope this helps with your backlink journey. I'm so proud of you for making it to this point in the video because that was so much. And SEO results in general take time and persistence. So be patient and don't give up. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you ASAP. And in the meantime, don't forget to promote your website in other ways until your SEO traffic starts to come in. One way that I highly recommend is using email marketing. I have an entire video on how I use Flowdesk to grow my email list and how to monetize it. So take a look at that. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful.